So happy Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? It is Tuesday to everyone. We're so glad you're here with us. And I just want you to think about what brings you here. Why did you say yes to coming tonight? For some people, they're looking at disease prevention. Maybe they have a personal health issue, an interest in eating healthier. Maybe it's a concern for someone that you love or that you care about, or maybe even care for. It could even just be wanting to perform at your best, either as an athlete or a mom. I know that was myself almost 20 years ago. I was in my early 20s and I was just tired. I lived for the next nap. It wasn't my nap, it was my son's nap, which meant that I could nap. And that's really all I thought about. And I would count down the hours until he was asleep again. But I really thought we ate healthy. I thought we were healthy. And it wasn't until I was introduced to one simple change that things really started to change for our family. And it was something I could stick with almost 20 years now because it was so simple. So we're going to share that with you tonight. And I just want to start out with talking about, I wasn't the only one that's unhealthy. When you look at health statistics here in America, 1 in 4 will die of heart disease, 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer, 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 5 children is obese. That's pretty I don't love those statistics. I don't like those numbers. And yet this is what we're facing. Dr. David Katz says our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. That's a pretty bold statement. And that's partly because our food quality is decreasing. I think this probably plays the biggest role of all things is just the nutrients are just not there. When you look at what is in foods, it's all of those things listed. But if you think about what's in a grocery store, everything in the middle is processed. It has lots of fillers, colors, preservatives, and really things that aren't even food. And so one thing you can remind yourself is when you're at the grocery store, spend most of your money on the perimeter of the grocery store. So in the real food sections of the grocery store versus buying things that are in the middle of the grocery store, such as snacks and canned and boxed and, those type of foods. So more than 50% of what Americans eat is processed. And I've had families tell me if it's not in a box, a package, or a brown bag, we don't eat it. And so we've really gotten very far from our focus of fruits and vegetables. And that's what we're going to really spend most of our time in tonight, because the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's that they are so good for you, they could save your life. I remember reading that in 2003, but I didn't understand how they could save my life. I didn't understand that. I had never been told about disease prevention, not through what I ate. There were things I knew we shouldn't eat a lot of sugar or hamburgers, like that wasn't good for you, but I didn't understand the power of food. And it is powerful enough that disease is preventable. This says 75% of disease is preventable with good nutrition. I've heard as high as 85%. And so really that means, our DNA is not our destiny. We think very often about what genetics have been passed down from our family, but that's not the biggest determiner, is that even a word, of disease. It's actually what we eat, our lifestyle, what we don't eat. And to me, that's really encouraging because that's something I have control. I don't have control over what, genetics I was passed down from my parents and grandparents, but I do control what goes into my mouth and the foods that I choose to eat. And really, that's why we need to be eating 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. That's rough. 7 to 13 servings, thinking a serving size is slightly smaller than the size of your fist. And athletes need to be even more, closer to 20 servings a day. So I don't know if you find that difficult to do, but I do. I did 20 years ago. I still do now. And why do we need to eat so many of them? Partly it's because produce is picked way before the nutrition fully develops. When you're getting bananas that are that green in the store, they have to pick them at that point because by the time they ship it and truck it here, they can't sell you rotten bananas. If you have a garden, you wait until that tomato is ripe and it's ready to pick. And then you pick that tomato off and you bring it inside and you eat it very ripe. The longer it's off of the vine or the plant, that fruit or vegetable is losing nutrients by the day. And so even if we are eating a lot of produce, they don't have as many nutrients because they've been picked so early. And we've talked about just not eating enough. And we often don't eat a variety either. When you look at what you eat, if you really were to write down the vegetables that you eat, we tend to eat about the same 5, just kind of over and over again, rotated. And so we're not getting a wide variety of colors. We're not getting them fresh, and just not getting enough servings every single day to prevent disease. And here's why: whole food versus vitamin is really a different concept. We've been told, take your vitamins. People know they're not eating the nutrients or getting the nutrients they need from their food. And so they rely on a chemical vitamin to bridge that gap. But when you look at what's in a whole food apple, there's over 11,000 nutrients compared to a multivitamin is going to have maybe 30 nutrients. And those 30 nutrients are a chemical rendition of nutrients found in fruits and vegetables. So it's always far superior to get your nutrition from a food source. And when you look at the totality of the evidence of research behind multivitamins, they have not been shown to prevent heart disease, cancer, diabetes, those types of diseases we're trying to prevent, and why people would be taking them. And not only does it show it doesn't prevent disease, it shows that totality of research looking at years and years of research on multivitamins actually show that they can do more harm than good, because it is a chemical. It is a chemical rendition of those nutrients. And so just be careful if you take a lot of vitamins. Really, you need to be under the care of a doctor that's monitoring your blood, because you can become pretty toxic pretty fast. And we definitely don't want that. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we bridge the gap between what we may be eating? This is the standard American diet, the SAD diet, very typical for most kids for sure, which is interesting. And what we should be eating, which is a wide variety of fresh raw fruits and vegetables, a colorful rainbow of plants at every single meal. Where's the how do we bridge that gap between those two? And that's where this one simple change comes in. That's what Juice Plus is. It's functional food. It's plant powders that are put into a capsule form. So you've got 10 different fruit, 10 vegetables, 10 berries. As you can see, it is a wide variety of colors. It's a wide range, and things that I don't typically eat on an everyday basis, but I can flood my body with 30, all those nutrients of those 30 fruits and vegetables. It's juiced into a thick slurry, and then it's dried. And we're actually going to watch a video on how Juice Plus is made. So I'm going to play this for you. It's just 2 minutes.
The fact that we actually grow a lot of these products very close to the factory, and we can preserve the freshness. They can be harvested and processed within just a couple hours of when they come out of the field, as opposed to maybe some of the produce you might buy in the store where it has to go through trucking and shipping and a lot of different steps to be available to you. These processes that we do are done just within a few hours of when the product's harvested.
From the farm through our plant, the fresh product actually only takes about 6 hours. When the product arrives at our farm processing plant, the product is tumbled, washed, and cleaned. The clean product is then laid out over the processing belt and slowly moved through sub-zero air. When we're doing that, we're able to freeze the product and preserve all the freshness of the product just as if it was from the field.
The sooner you can lower the temperature and control the temperature, the more you can lock in the nutrients.
When Juice Plus is looking for nutritional quality, color is very important.
Most people associate a dark red cranberry as a sign of the ripeness of that fruit.
Freshness is very important. There's a very short amount of time from when they're harvested to when they're frozen, locking in the freshness and nutrients.
While we're producing the Juice Plus powders, they have very high standards for the purity of their powders, what can go into their powders. They also have tight controls over their supply lines. They know which farms it comes from, and they have a good control over that. Also, when the products are produced, they have certain steps throughout the process for safety and purity. My favorite part of working with Juice Plus is knowing that people are benefiting from what we're doing. We put a lot of work into how we grow our ingredients and how we process them so that they're safe and high quality and nutritious. It's neat to see the results of that by seeing the customers that use them and seeing their lives improved from some of the healthy ingredients and produce that we process.
I always like to be able to see where does the produce come from, or the ingredients, or how is it made, whatever I'm taking. And I love that Juice Plus is all produced in the United States. I just really appreciate that. And then all of the different ways that they work to really preserve the nutrients and then protect the product, including our plant-based omegas. So what's interesting is in these omegas, there's no fish. And in the capsule, there's a little bubble. It looks almost like an oxygen bubble, but it's actually nitrogen that keeps the oil from going rancid in those capsules. And it's a cold press seal on that shell of the capsule. So that it never comes into heat, which is very, very different than an omega that comes from a fish source. And omegas are really important for your heart, for your brain, for your joints, your skin, your eyes. I love that ours is 100% plant-based because it doesn't smell like fish. I've even put it on my face. It's excellent for sunburns, which is interesting, or even mosquito bites. It'll take the itch out of an ant bite really fast. And I would never do that with a fish oil, but this is a full spectrum omega. So it's omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, which is really very unique when it comes to an omega supplement. So if you're taking omegas now, you might look and see, does it come from a fish source? And if it does, switch to a plant, because plant-based, your body knows what to do with that. Again, it's absorbed different, and your body uses those nutrients very different than it does from an animal source. We also have Juice Plus Complete Shakes, which is a vegan whole food smoothie mix that has 20 more different plant foods in it. Things like broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, chickpea powder, millet, pea protein, things I'm not going to get on my own every day. And it comes in chocolate and vanilla. It's a very smooth, creamy texture. I love peanut butter with the chocolate, a banana, some ice, and unsweetened almond milk. That's our family favorite and has been for almost 2 decades now, which is crazy to say. But you can do a lot of things with it. You can do smoothies, but if you're not a smoothie person, you can do protein balls. You can make it into a pudding by just not adding so much of the almond milk, and it actually is really good. I love it with stirred up and then put frozen raspberries in it and like eat it for dessert. It's delicious. So you can make pancakes with it. Like, we have a ton of different recipes, but even just by itself, it really has a great taste. It makes for a very simple meal. It's 13 grams of plant protein, 8 grams of fiber. That's really important for stabilizing blood sugar and actually feeding the good bacteria in our intestines, which is where all of our immune system is. So you've got the micronutrition of the Juice Plus capsules, and these shakes are the macronutrition. So think of that as the fuel that your body runs on. This is really clean fuel, and it's really quick fuel. I can make a shake in 3 minutes, put it in a cup, take it out, take it with me on the road. And I know that I'm flooding my body with at least 20 of plant foods, but I like to put the capsules just right into my smoothie. I don't even open them up because it's a tapioca shell. The blender just blends the whole thing, and then I just drink my smoothie with the capsules in it, and it's one less step. So that's something to think about if you're looking for an easy meal replacement, either for lunch, breakfast, or dinner. This is really a great one. And some people even do 2 meals a day with it. I know Kim does. She's on the phone, or on the phone, on Zoom with us today. So Juice Plus really is unique. It's food. It's not a multivitamin. It has a food label, not a supplement label like vitamins do. It's made with non-GMO ingredients, but they also test it through NSF certification, a third-party company that comes in and tests each batch to make sure what's on the label is exactly what's in those capsules, and vice versa. And it's the most researched brand name nutritional product on the market in the world. There's nothing else that even comes close to the research that we have. And this is gold standard research. These are research studies that have been done at leading hospitals and universities, like I said, all around the world. And what gold standard means is the highest standard, because these are randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. These are human or clinical trials. So that means when people take the product, what are the results? That's what that means, is tested on the product itself. So then the results are published in peer-reviewed medical journals, and it's never tested on animals. And I like the fact that they do all this research, because my kids are not animals. We're not test tubes. I wanted to know if I was going to invest in this, I was going to take it during my pregnancy and give it to my children when they were little and growing up. I wanted to know, one, that I wasn't wasting my money, and two, what were the health benefits? And here's some of the things that we know: stronger lung function. So, larger lung capacity, even in smokers, healthier skin, so better hydration. And you can tell people that have been on Juice Plus for a long time, their skin just looks very different. And you just look younger. I don't know how to describe that, but I have ladies that, were older when I got involved with Juice Plus, and yet they still look amazing. And it's like they're not aging, or definitely not at the same rate as their peers. Systemic inflammation is reduced. Systemic inflammation is like whole body inflammation, whether that's in your mouth or that's in your brain, if it's in your arteries or in your joints. Systemic inflammation, or inflammation overall, is what causes chronic pain. And there's so many people that deal with that, or they deal with arthritis and different things where inflammation is like the spark to a lot of disease process. So anytime you can reduce that, and when you can reduce it in your whole body, it's just a relief to your system, and your body's going to run and work better. Heart health, better blood flow, better circulation, less restriction in your arteries after eating a high-fat meal, less of a spasm in your arteries after eating high-fat meals. Not that we advocate eating high-fat meals, but it happens, right? So to know that there's a protection, that your arteries are not as inflamed, and they're able to withstand the detriments of that unhealthy meal without going into a spasm for hours, which is really just incredible. And then a healthy immune system, I sort of touched on that. And this was really key to our family. My husband had pneumonia 4 years in a row, at least once, most of the time twice a year. And he caught every cold that came around. When we first heard about Juice Plus, I just thought, this is an easy, smart way to get more produce into our diet. Our 20-year-old, our 40-year-old selves are going to thank us 20 years from now for taking this, which we do. But I really wasn't thinking short-term benefits. Honestly, Jarrett was sick so often, it was just common and normal for him. And we didn't recognize how bad it was until he got better. And it took time for his gut system to heal, and for his immune system to get stronger and be able to fight off the most basic things like a cold without turning into something else. And so where I say I got hours back in my day, my husband says he got his life back, and he really did. It made such a big difference for us. Dr. Du Bois said that there is nothing else available any place in the world, with or without a prescription, that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. That's a pretty bold statement. That's not pretty bold. That's very bold. And I agree with him. Out of all of the products I've ever looked at, I've never found one that even has one gold standard research, much less 44 over almost 30 years of being on the market. They have invested very well in proving the efficacy of our product. And I'm so proud of that. And really, this company is very generous. We have a program called the Healthy Starts for Families. And this is a program where when an adult orders Juice Plus, at least the red and green, although I recommend the red, green, purple, and orange. So that would be fruit, vegetable, berries, and omegas. When they order at least the red and green, then a child in their life, age 4 through 18, and full-time college students can get Juice Plus for free. So one child per one adult, and they can either do gummies or capsules free for up to 4 years. It's really incredible. So these are some of the results that families shared with us after beginning the Family Healthy Starts for Families program, this study. And they reported the following: that 60% were missing fewer days of school. They were taking fewer over-the-counter medications, drinking more water, visiting the doctor less, consuming less fast food and soft drinks, and eating more fruits and vegetables. I don't know what parent would look at that list and be like, that's not for us. We don't want those things for our kids. Like, it was a broad spectrum, almost 2 million kids have taken Juice Plus for free. And these are the results that their families turned in. So a very generous company that has a heart for helping families get healthy together. And Juice Plus is absolutely affordable. When we look at, the price of Juice Plus, we're looking at $2.67 a day for 30 fruits and vegetables. It's free for kids. $1.08 for the omegas a day, and then the shakes are $2.53 a serving. Okay, even looking at that, this is a page I made a while back. $4 for a Frappuccino. If you can get a Frappuccino for $4, tell me where you're getting that, because I'm seeing the price of those increase crazily. I have a favorite place I like to go for lunch. A salad and a medium iced tea is $17. And the salad's not even that great. Nothing compared to what I can grow on my tower garden. So if you have never seen a tower garden before, that's the image right there on the left. This is a resource for families to really increase the nutrition on a daily basis of the number of true plants that you are eating and consuming. I planted about a month ago, and I'm already eating salads a daily on this. They taste amazing to where I don't even want to go out and eat. It's not faster because I just cut it off and put it in the bowl. You don't even have to wash it. There's nothing on it. So it's not faster for me to go out somewhere and get something. I would rather stay home or have a friend come over and we eat a salad together. But this is a hydroponic and aeroponic way to grow your own produce year round. It's phenomenal. I highly recommend one. And I know some of you on here have one as well. We've got cookbooks, like I mentioned, incredible webinars to watch and learn more. We've got just even like exercise books and things to do with your kids, a lot of educational tools. And we see this as healthy living. Juice Plus is not a diet. It's not a fad. It's been around for decades now. And, it's the totality of all of the decisions you make that really make up that healthy lifestyle. And that's what our goal is. So again, the tower garden is 98% less water, 90% less space, 30% more yield, 3 times faster growing than a traditional garden. It's safe and nutritious. You can get a smaller version, which is the Tower Garden Home, to grow inside or outside. And then the Tower Flex is inside or outside. So we invite you to join us. I just want you to think, is there anyone that comes to your mind, maybe yourself, that you're thinking of this information and you're like, I need some extra nutritional support. I know I don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables, but still knowing that you need support. It's difficult to do that, like we discussed. And this is such an easy solution that really is proven to have great benefits for anyone, no matter what they're dealing with or not dealing with. And so we just invite you to join us. Come on board, join, taking Juice Plus, eating more fruits and vegetables. And then maybe there's other people that you're thinking of. You're like, they need to hear this information. We do events like this on a weekly basis, and we would love for you to join in and be a part of the conversation to bring them into these events and help them learn. We love to go and do these events in person with other people. And I just thank you for spending your time with us. I'm going to stop the video now, and then we will open it for questions. So thank you so much for joining.